Hello, Minster parents and students. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Melissa Utrup. I am the school counselor for the 712 building. And this video is in regards to our annual CCP information session. This year, the information session is going to be a little bit different due to COVID. You'll have this video first, and then on Monday, January 11th, we will have a Google Meet, virtual Google Meet, where you can come and ask me any questions. There will also be representatives from the area colleges there, and you can ask them questions as well. So without further ado, I'm going to start this presentation regarding CCP. I do want to preface it with saying you only need to watch this video if your child intends to take CCP courses during the 21-22 school year. Even if your child is taking courses this year as CCP courses, they still need to watch this video with one of you in order to learn any new information regarding CCP, as CCP requirements are always changing from the Ohio Department of Higher Education. So without further ado, we will get started. The first thing that I want to start out with is what are the CCP courses offered here at Minster High School. So for the 21-22 school year, we will be offering Anatomy 1, Anatomy 2. Both of those are taught by Mrs. Bruns, and they are through Rhodes State University. We will have English 3 CCP, English 4 CCP. Those will both likely be taught by Mrs. Rindler, and those are both through Franklin University. Intro to Calculus, which is taught by Mrs. Schumann, and Oral Communications, which is taught by Mrs. Magato. And those two last ones, Intro to Calc and Oral Communications, are also through Franklin University. All CCP courses that we have here at Minster High School are worth 4 semester hours. I also want to note that all of these CCP courses are only offered to juniors and seniors. So again, by law, I have to make sure that any student and their parent who are going to be in grades 7 through 12 for the 21-22 school year has access to this information. But again, if you are a parent of a 7th or 8th grader or 9th grader and you're not sure if you need to be watching this video, please just know that all the courses here at Minster, we only offer to juniors and seniors. That doesn't mean that your child can't go to a different campus like Wright State Lake or another area campus and take courses online, or physically go to that campus to take courses. I just want you to know that anything that we offer here in-house at Minster High School is only offered to juniors and seniors. So what is College Credit Plus? College Credit Plus is Ohio's dual credit program. This means that a student can earn high school credit and college credit at the same exact time. They're taking one course or however many courses they decide to take, but each course is giving them high school credit for graduation and also college credit. Any college course that is 3 semester hours or more, that converts as one high school unit. So for example, our English 3 CCP course that we offer here through Franklin is 4 semester hours. So that is equivalent to one high school unit. A student can apply to any public college and any private college that participates in CCP programs. It is important that the student understands that they adhere to the policies and requirement of each college that they apply to. They can choose a variety of college level courses. Clearly, ours are already spelled out as to the courses that we offer here at Minster. But if a student would go off campus, meaning not here on Minster's campus, to a university, they can choose from a variety of different college level courses. The ability to take those courses will be determined on placements, on how they do on their placement tests, and course eligibility rules. So all of those are going to be different for all the different universities. So it's very, very important that your child understands what those course eligibility rules are going to be. And again, your child can apply to multiple colleges. For example, we oftentimes may have a student who is going to take Anatomy 1, which is through Rhodes State. So I would have to make sure that child is applied to Rhodes State. They could take English 3, which is through Franklin University. So I would make sure that child has applied through Franklin University. And then maybe your student or your child decides that they're going to take a class through Wright State Lake campus. They would then have to apply to that college as well. So there could be a lot of different moving parts. They could easily be attending 3 universities if they really wanted to, but they are afforded that option. Obviously, the student has to successfully complete the course in order to earn college credit. If your child would fail the course or withdraw from the course after the deadline, the transcript for high school and the college transcript would reflect that failure or withdrawal. If your child is taking courses here through Minster, they will not be able to withdraw late because at Minster, we require students to make any course changes within the first 3 days of school. So there's no way that they can withdraw late from a CCP course here at Minster. If your child is taking a course off campus, there is that possibility that that child would withdraw late if they're not paying attention to their withdrawal deadlines. It's easier for me to help students while they're here at Minster and they're taking Minster courses here because I can easily make sure that they are meeting those deadlines. When students start going out to campuses, which is completely fine and is really great for a lot of students, it's very, very important that they are responsible in knowing what the drop deadlines are for all those universities, because each university is going to have a different drop deadline, and it's impossible for me to remember all those. So I always stress to the kids, it's very important that they know those drop deadlines. And it's also very important that they are constantly communicating with their college advisor if they are thinking about dropping. The last thing they want to do is wait till the very last day to drop or withdraw. And for some reason, there might be a glitch in the system, or that person happens to be out of the office that day and that can't get processed. And I'd hate for them to miss some sort of deadline because they don't have that communication with their college advisor, or they don't remember and know what their college deadline drop dates are. So it's very, very important that they are responsible in knowing when these deadlines are. Students can take courses in the summer semester, fall semester, and spring semester. Just know that when you take a summer semester course, that's going towards the following school year. So if your child takes a summer 2021 course, that's going to count towards their classes for the 21-22 school year. So just kind of think of it, it goes towards the coming up year. As I've mentioned before, students can take courses here at the high school. They could take a course at campus. So like they may leave high school and go to Wright State Lake campus, for example, and take a class physically there at their facility. Or they may take a course, for example, through Wright State Lake campus, but it's online. So there are many different ways in which students can take a course. Obviously, the only courses that they can take here at the high school are the courses that we have partnered with a college in order to offer. So now you may be asking yourself, how do I know if my child is eligible for CCP? Well, COVID definitely has changed the rules for CCP eligibility a little bit. It did for this current school year, and it's going to change it a little bit for the 21-22 school year. So the new or the current flexible requirements is that a student must have a 3.0 cum GPA to be admitted to the college. Then the college, every college from there does things a little bit differently. So some colleges may say, okay, they have a 3.0 cum, so they've been admitted, but if they want to take an English class with us, they need to have a 3.0 GPA in any English classes they have taken. Other schools, other colleges are saying, you know what, we still want them to have an ACT score or an ACTSAT score. So it's very important that students are communicating with the colleges that they're applying to understand what are their requirements for getting accepted and then being able to take certain classes. If your child is going to take classes here at Minster, either through Rhodes State or Franklin University, I will be working closely with them to make sure that they understand the eligibility requirements for Franklin and Rhodes, and I will help them understand what they need to do if they haven't met those requirements. For example, if they would need to take the ACT or have to take the AccuPlacer. Students must also complete the intent to participate form by, and actually this April 1st date is no longer valid. It's actually May 1st of 2021. Due to COVID, they're giving us that little bit of extra wiggle room. However, I really want you to know that this is part of my scheduling process. When kids schedule classes, I make sure that they have that intent to participate form completed. So we really won't even really get close to that April or even May 1 deadline. Scheduling should start, as long as everything goes well and we're still here in school, scheduling should start in the month of February. So again, your child will definitely meet that deadline. The one thing I will say about that intent to participate that I've seen some kids run into problems with, sometimes a student, when they first schedule with me, will say, I just don't feel like CCP's for me, which is completely fine. I just want to take, the regular English 3 class instead of the English 3 CCP class, or I just want to take regular Anatomy 1 versus having Anatomy 1 CCP, which is completely fine. The one thing that I have seen kids run into is later, like during the summer, after they've clearly had some time to think about things, or maybe they've had conversation with past students or with their parents, they then decide, hey, I really do want to see if maybe I could do the CCP one, which again is great. But sometimes what they run into is they haven't filled out that intent to participate, which then doesn't allow me to let them take the class, because that intent to participation form needs to be filled out by, for this year, May 1st. So I always tell the kids, like, if you're on the fence and you may think about doing CCP, even maybe it's later, I would definitely just fill out that intent to participate form. That will be a part of their scheduling forms. That way you have it. That way, if you would happen to change your mind, you have it complete, and that's not going to stop you from being able to take CCP. Again, COVID did disrupt this. They have extended it to May 1st. I don't see them extending it any further unless for some reason we would have to shut down again or something like that. But again, the May 1st deadline is not going to be a difficult deadline for us to meet. And then students must indicate their tentative plan of using payment option A or option B. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but I do want to let you know that when your child fills out that intent to participate form, you're going to mark either option A or option B. And if you do not mark anything, like you forget to mark one of them, it's automatically going to be defaulted to option B. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So what's the difference? What is option A? What is option B? Option A is that the family/student is going to self-pay for their college courses at the standard rate of tuition fees and textbooks. So essentially you're saying, you know what? We don't want the school to pay for any of it. We're going to pay for all of it. I guess the nice part about that is the student can choose if they want to earn college credit and high school credit, or if they only want college credit, meaning that course is not going to show up on their high school transcript. It's still going to show up on their college transcript, but it wouldn't show up on their high school transcript if they would choose. And then obviously the student needs to let the college know when they register for those courses that they are choosing option A, so that that college knows that they need to bill the student and not the high school. So option B, if you have had any students take CCP in the past, or maybe you have older siblings who've taken CCP in the past, this is the option that is more like what they have always done. Option B means that the school is going to pay for the tuition, the fees, and the textbooks. You'll earn high school and college credit, so it's going to show up on both of those transcripts. And obviously, you may be asked again to confirm what is your payment option. But again, if you don't mark anything, we are just going to default to option B, where the school pays for everything. Okay, so college admissions and registration, what do we need to do? So first, your child needs to apply for admissions. If your child is only taking CCP courses here at Minster through Rhodes and or Franklin, I will help them apply. If your child's already taken some courses through Rhodes and Franklin, then I will just help them with the registration process. They do not have to apply again. If your child is going off campus, for example, they want to take some courses through Wright State Lake campus or Ohio State Lima campus or UNOH or Edison or anything along those lines, your child will be responsible for reaching out to that college and starting that application process. I am here to support them and help them. But again, they know which schools they want to go to. So they're going to have to start reaching out and finding out all that information kind of on their own. And then they bring it back to me and I help them through that application process. They must obviously meet the admission requirements set forth by the college. Again, they will want to reach out to the college to understand the requirements, the paperwork, the process, and what those deadlines are. Colleges and universities have the final decisions on if your child is admitted into their university. That decision is not made at the high school level. That decision is made at the college level. And that goes for if a student is going to take courses here at Minster through Franklin and Rhodes, that is still determined by Rhodes and Franklin. We at Minster do not determine if they can take a college credit plus course. Them being admitted is determined by Rhodes and Franklin. Once your child is admitted, the college and university will discuss course options based on assessment scores, prerequisites, and any other requirements that college may have for CCP students. So what is my role as the school counselor and college admissions? Because I'm kind of playing in both areas. So what I help the student do is understand what their graduation requirements are, and if there are any CCP courses they're interested in taking that would fulfill those high school requirements. I also ensure that they're meeting any high school graduation requirements and any mandatory testing. Sometimes we do have students who will take a course off campus, but yet they still need to take the state end of course exam in that area. So I just make sure that I have double checked everything to make sure that they have what they need to graduate and have taken the mandatory tests. I also calculate enrollment credit hours per year. So a student can only take 30 credit hours per year, and that includes their high school courses and any CCP courses. And then that's calculated, and I'm going to show you how that's calculated on the next slide. I have an example. It's also important to know that throughout a child's whole CCP career, if you want to call it that, they can only take 120 between their high school classes they take all those years and their CCP classes that they take during all those years. Many students don't meet the 120, but I do have some students who meet the 30. So we're going to talk about how, oh no, I have 30 credit hours or I've gone over 30 credit hours. What do I do next? So here's my sample student. For my sample student, they have taken, in the summer, they've taken 4 semester hours of coursework. Then the fall, they're going to take 4 semester hours of coursework. So that would be if they decide they're going to take a class at Wright State Lake campus, or maybe it's a Wright State Lake campus course online. That's 4 semester hours. Then in the spring, they decide they're going to take another course. Let's say it's through Wright State Lake campus online, and it's 4 credit hours. Then I also have to count everything they do here at school. So for our sample student, they're taking 8 semester hours of coursework here at Minster. That would be any CCP courses that they're taking here at Minster. So for an example, this student could be taking Anatomy 1 and English 3, and there would be their 8 semester hours. Then I also have to count their non-CCP courses. So our sample student is taking 4 non-CCP courses here at Minster. I have to take that number times 3 because remember, any college class that is 3 units or more is a high school class. So I have to take my 4 classes that I'm taking that are non-CCP times 3 and I get 12. When I add all these up, I get 32 credit hours. So then what do? What are my options? When your child would happen to reach that 30 credit hours, they do have a couple options. Their first option is that they would drop the course, obviously prior to the no default withdrawal date. So they could just drop that course. For our sample student, it would be the spring semester course that they would have to drop because summer would already be over, fall would already be over, and the 8 semester hours of coursework at Minster, that's going to come from your full year courses, so they can't drop that. And they can't drop their 4 non-CCP Minster courses. So if they're going to drop because they don't want to go over 30 and they don't want to pay, then they would not be able to take this spring 2022 course. Or your student could keep that spring course, but they would have to pay for that entire course. They're not only paying for the 2 semester hours that put them over 30, they have to pay for that entire course. So they would be paying for all 4 semester hours. That would include the tuition, the fees, the books, all that at the college's standard rate. Not at the college's CCP rate, at the college's standard rate, just as if they were a entering freshman, that rate that they would pay as an entering freshman. So I don't have many kids who go over 30. I have a lot of kids who get really, really close to 30, and we keep an eye on it. But occasionally I do have some students who go over 30. And if that happens, then your child and I would have that conversation. What do you want to do? Many times they'll go home and discuss it with their parent, and then we move forward from there. So, eligible courses. What courses can my child take when they are going to a university? So the first 15 credits have to be level 1 courses, and each university must post their level 1 courses to their website. So if you're wondering what are the level 1 courses at a certain university, I highly recommend you going to their website and going to their CCP page to find out what their level 1 courses are. Most of these are going to be transferable courses, so courses that can easily transfer to other Ohio public universities. They're going to be courses in IT, computer science, anatomy and physiology, foreign languages. They may be courses that are part of a technical certificate. They are going to be courses that are likely part of a 15 or 30 credit pathway that the college has established. And they could be courses in study skills, academic, or career success as well. Again, they must post those courses on their website. And once your child has their first 15 credit hours in level 1 courses, they can then move to level 2 courses. And those courses are any other allowable college courses. And again, that they're going to be talking to their college advisor once they hit those 15 to see what other doors are open now that they are past level 1 and on to level 2. I have seen the most success for students when they really sit down and think about what career they want to do after high school, and they select college credit courses that are in a career path or a career interest area, which will help them lead to that major or degree. I have not seen kids get ahead of the game because ultimately that's what they're trying to do when they're taking CCP courses. One of their goals when they're taking CCP courses at the high school is they're trying to get some college courses done and get ahead while they're still in high school. And I don't see kids be as successful with that getting ahead part if they are just haphazardly selecting what college credit plus courses they're going to take. So again, sitting down, having that conversation with your child. What are your end goal plans, and what are some classes that you can take at the college credit level that will help you get to that career path? Courses that are not allowed to be taken as CCP. So any private applied courses with a one-on-one instructor, courses with really extremely high fees, study abroad courses, phys ed courses, pass-fail courses, and any remedial courses or sectarian or religious courses. So any of these courses are not allowed to be taken as a college credit plus course. So CCP grades, and how does the credit transfer? So college credit grades are obviously on the high school and the college transcript. The only time that would not happen is if you would select option A, where you are paying for everything for the course and you are selecting that you only want college credit for it. But again, most of us are used to option B. And if you don't mark an option, option B is going to be the default that I use when helping your child. The CCP is also included on both your high school and college GPA. And I feel like that is very important for us to help our students and your children remember that when they are taking college credit plus courses, they are starting their college GPA. They are already starting that GPA that is going to be very important as they get older and go and apply to college and get into colleges. Credit transfer. So in general, the general ed and tech courses should transfer, especially from one Ohio public college to another. However, I always tell the kids, you want to have conversations when you start looking at which colleges you're going to attend after high school. You'll really want to start having those conversations with those admissions counselors at those schools on how your courses will transfer, because sometimes courses don't transfer exactly as how kids envision that they're going to. So again, once you start visiting those colleges and you're talking to admission counselors at those colleges, be sure to let them know exactly what courses you have taken as a college credit plus course and where you've taken those college credit plus courses through, so they can see how they would transfer into that university. Again, you'll want to make sure and check how transferable are the classes that you are taking. And then you can always visit this website right here, transfercredit.ohio.gov, to learn more about how the courses you are taking will transfer to other universities. I do feel like it is important to note right now that there are other ways at Minster High School that you can receive college credit. And one of those ways is through our AP courses. So the AP courses that will be offered at Minster High School for the 21-22 school year includes AP English, taught by Mrs. Magato, AP Calculus AB, taught by Mrs. Schumann, AP Government, which will be taught by Mr. Lewis, AP Psychology, or AP US History. Which one, we will offer one of them. It'll be based on student interest, and it will be taught by Mr. Homestetter. And AP Physics, which will be taught by Mrs. Sidoff. Again, most of these courses are only offered to juniors and seniors. It's also important to note that if you take an AP course, you will be taking an AP exam in May of 2022. And in order to receive college credit, you'll need to earn a 3, 4, or 5 on that AP exam for guaranteed credit at a college or university. So now we look at what's the difference between high school classes and college classes. At the high school level, grades are often comprised of numerous quizzes, tests, homework assignments, those type of things. At the college level, you're going to have fewer tests even than what you would hear at high school, and there'll be hardly any homework assignments that will go towards your grades. So your college grade is mostly comprised of tests, and there's not very many tests, where your high school grade will be comprised of, quizzes, tests, homework assignments, and the likelihood that there'll probably be even more quizzes and more tests here at high school than what you would take at college. Tests are sometimes given weekly or at the end of a chapter, whereas your tests at the college level, again, will probably be fewer and more spaced out. So less opportunities for you to, if you would happen to have a bad grade or a slip up, there's less opportunities for you at the college level to kind of make up for that slip up versus what you would have at high school. Required homework at high school ranges from like 1 to 3 hours. And the good thing is you have daily access to your teachers versus at the college level. The standard rule is 2 to 3 hours of homework for every hour spent in class. And then also, I think what's really important is there isn't that daily access sometimes to your college professor. You may have class 2, maybe 3 times a week, and then they may have office hours once or twice a week. Information at the high school level is often provided mostly in class, and there's little out-of-class research, where on the opposite end at college, coursework generally require more independent thinking, there's longer writing assignments, and there is a great deal of out-of-class research. Another important thing to note right here is that your college schedule has to work around your high school schedule. So we do not allow students to leave high school early or come to high school classes late because they're in a college class. It's important to know that if you decide to take a college class at the college where you are physically traveling to the college, going to class, and then traveling back to Minster, you typically are missing about 4 periods of the day. So you'll want to kind of think about that when you're thinking about what classes you want to take. If you want to take 7 classes here at Minster, just know that you're probably not going to be able to take a class at campus. Can you take an online class through a university? Yes. But are you going to be able to travel to the university, take that class, and then travel back? If you want to take 7 classes here at Minster, that will probably not be likely. Again, these are conversations that you're going to have with me when we are making out your schedule and you're letting me know what college classes you're thinking of taking. Are they going to be here? Are they going to be at the university, and things like that? The parent role. So the parent role while you're here in high school is they are strong advocates working closely with the teachers and counselors on your behalf or your child's behalf. In college, the parent role is more of a mentor, or you're a support to the student. The college truly views the student as the individual, independent decision maker. It's also really important for me to note right now, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, is what you typically hear colleges call it. So FERPA protects the student's education records. And because the colleges view the student as the independent decision maker, FERPA protects their education records from anyone, the school counselor, and from parents. Now, students can waive their FERPA rights, saying, yes, you can talk to my parent about my grade or my educational records. But it's really, really important that parents understand that when your child goes to college, that I don't get any grades for them until the very end. I can't contact them and ask them, how's Bobby doing? It's halfway through the semester. How's he doing in this class? They're not going to let me know that. And again, I don't know if they would let you know that unless your child has waived their FERPA rights, saying that, yes, they could speak to a parent on their behalf regarding educational records. So I think it's really important that parents remember that. Parents and students work with the high school staff to determine assistance for maybe some accommodations if the student has a 504 or an IEP. Where at the college, the student works directly with the college staff to determine if any of the accommodations listed on a 504 or an IEP will be granted by the university. It's also important to note that for college, the student is responsible for attending orientation sessions if it's required by this university or college, and the student is responsible for all important dates. This would be class start dates, class withdrawal, and drop dates. So what does it mean to be college ready? Again, we're still looking at that high school versus college. Being college ready is so much more than just being academically ready. What else do we need to be ready for if we are thinking of taking College Credit Plus courses? We need to think about the social and emotional transition to college expectations. So again, when students are here at Minster and taking CCP courses here at Minster, it's a little bit easier for me to do a check-in, or even a parent to do a check-in with the teacher or the student on how they are doing. Once a student takes courses online or off campus at a university, I can't really check in on them. For an example, I can't, other than speaking with them and saying, how is your class going? Are you staying on top of your college coursework? I am taking their word for it when they tell me, yep, I'm doing great, everything's going well, when in reality, maybe they haven't done a single thing, or they don't know how to log into their online class and they're too afraid to tell me. And then they go weeks and weeks and weeks without submitting anything, which then would result in a fail or a drop withdrawal. Very important for us to think beyond academically, and is our child socially and emotionally ready for the college expectations and the amount of independence that comes with college courses. Time management and organizational skills. Again, this large sense of independency on managing their time. Ultimately, I'm sure many of you are at work during the day, and if a student is supposed to go to, for example, Wright State Lake campus for class, and they don't manage their time well and they don't go to class, Wright State's not going to call the parent or even the high school or the student and say, Bobby didn't show up to class today. We're just wondering, we're just checking on him, making sure everything's fine. That ultimately falls on the student being able to manage the time, go to class, being organized in class, having the materials that they need, making sure that they turn in assignments. Again, if Bobby doesn't turn in his assignments, Wright State Lake campus is not going to call me or the parent or even the student and say, hey, you haven't turned in your assignments, just want to check up with you and see when you're going to do that. The professor may reach out with an email to Bobby and say, hey, Bobby, you haven't turned in a certain assignment. If you do it by Friday, I'll give you 50% or something like that. But again, all those responsibilities are going to fall on the student in being able to manage their time and manage the organization of the course and getting things turned in on time. Another thing to consider is online versus in person. With COVID, many of the courses a college offers has gone to online. And that's a blessing and a curse in the same way, because it's a blessing because students can continue to take college credit courses through a university online. The curse part is sometimes it's hard to manage that. It's hard to sometimes have the motivation to log on every day and make sure that we're doing those assignments. And also sometimes understanding how those online platforms work can be really difficult for students to manage. And again, unless they're talking to me or talking with you as parents and reaching out to the university, asking for help, if they're not doing that, we're not going to know they need that help. So again, a lot of them went online. I'm foreseeing in the near future that they're going to continue to be online. So that's something that you really want to think about when you're considering CCP courses. If you decide to take them through a local university, knowing that they're going to be online, and ultimately you as a student and the parent know how your child does with online courses. So that's something else that you'll want to consider when you're making this decision. And then also, just so everybody knows, your CCP credits will be utilized in the calculation of financial aid. So once you become a senior and you're looking at going to colleges and you're filling out financial aid information, it is going to ask you the number of CCP credits that you've taken, and they will take that into account when they're calculating financial aid. That is a conversation that you'll want to have with the financial aid office at any of the universities you're considering attending after high school. So the benefits and the consequences of CCP. So there are a lot of great benefits to CCP. So first of all, you get to earn that high school and college credit. You get a head start or that jump start on college and earning your degree or certificate. And you also get to experience college early to understand the expectations of college. So you kind of get to dip your toes into the whole college world. My biggest warning here is remember your grades will be on your college transcript and they will be counted into your college GPA. So my biggest warning here is yes, you get to experience it early, but make sure that you understand whatever your grades are going to be what you take with you when you go on to college and that you've started that GPA. And then also, obviously, you will save on tuition and textbook cost. Consequences, again, if you earn a failing grade or withdrawal too late, the district will require you/your parents to reimburse the district for your tuition. And then if you withdraw or fail too often, your future financial aid may be impacted negatively. So when you're a senior and you're applying for that financial aid or you're applying for those scholarships, that may be affected if you are failing or withdrawing from CCP courses too often. You'll definitely want to contact, if you feel like you're in that situation, you'll want to contact the financial aid office at the university you plan to attend for more information. Grades earned will be on your college transcript permanently. And I don't want to say this is so much a consequence. This could be a great thing, but this also could be a consequence if that college, that CCP course did not go as you intended. It's there as part of that transcript permanently. So what happens if a student performs poorly? Or they either fail a course or multiple courses, or they withdraw too late? What's going to happen? So there are a couple things that will happen. First, your child will be placed on CCP probation. And then if they don't meet the requirements while on CCP probation, they'll then be moved to CCP dismissal, which then may affect when they do go off to college after high school, that may affect them being maybe on academic probation as soon as they start college. So we're going to go through all those steps right now. So how would my student get on CCP probation? So if a student earns less than a 2.0 CUME CCP course GPA or withdraws from 2 or more courses in one academic term, they will be placed on CCP probation. What does that mean? Well, while your student's on CCP probation, they can only enroll in one CCP course for the next college term. And that course cannot be the same subject in which they earned a DF or no grade equivalent or withdrew too late. So that's the important thing. They can only take one course that term, and that course cannot be in the same subject matter as the course that they failed. And then finally, they can appeal it if they would like to. They can appeal them being placed on CCP probation. And that is actually part of our College Credit Plus handbook. In that handbook I've created, it gives you all of the policies at Minster about CCP probation and dismissal. And that handbook can actually be found on our website. It's called the CCP handbook. So feel free to look into that if you need to. All right. So CCP dismissal. What would take my student or the child from CCP probation to CCP dismissal? So while they're on probation, if the student does not increase their CCP GPA to a 2.0 or above, they will be placed on CCP dismissal. What this means is they may not enroll in any CCP courses. Again, within 5 days of being placed on dismissal, the student can submit an appeal. They would submit that appeal to the secondary school, and that would be to the superintendent. Again, that is part of the CCP policy that's in the CCP handbook, which is found on the website. It's also important to note that if you are placed on CCP probation or dismissal in high school, that may impact you when you start college. You may actually start college on academic probation. And again, that's going to be up to the college that you attend after high school. But that is something important to note as a possibility. So expenses, how are expenses paid? If you attend a public college university and you select option B, there is no cost to you. As long as your child stays under the 30 credit hours and they, pass all their classes, they don't withdraw late, all of the expenses will be at no cost to you as long as you select option B for your payment. At the private college, again, if you're selecting option B as a payment and your child passes all their classes and they don't withdraw after the drop date, then again, all the cost for tuition, required fees, and books will be paid by the school. However, students may be charged a small cost per credit hour at a private college. This is something that you'll want to check if your child decides to apply to a private college to take CCP courses. This is something you'll want to check into with the financial aid office or your CCP college advisor. Some expenses are the responsibility of a student. So for example, if they are going to attend Wright State Lake campus and they are physically going to take a class there, then obviously they are responsible for, paying their gas for transportation there, paying for their parking pass, paying any parking fees that they may incur while they're there. So what are the available support services while your child is taking a CCP courses? So that I will continue to provide assistance to all CCP students. Again, when students are taking CCP courses here at Minster with our Minster teachers, it's really, really easy for me to provide that assistance or that support as they need to. When a student goes off campus and takes courses with a university that we're not partnered with, again, there's nothing wrong with that. It just becomes a little more complicated because they are going to be doing a lot of the communications with the college and then communicating information back with me. When we work with our partner schools with the classes we offer here at school, I do most of the communication with the college. When a child goes to a campus that we are not, or a college we're not partnered with, then it takes a lot of patience in communicating with the college and making sure that the student's communicating that information back to me, and then I'm able to provide the college the information that they need. So it's totally doable. It's not impossible. It just takes a little bit more patience on everyone's part to make sure that all the information is provided and communicated in an effective manner. My one huge word of advice to CCP students is keep all CCP materials, schedules, syllabi, keep it all in a folder. This is going to become really, really important as you move on to college after high school, and especially when they're looking at how they're going to transfer a class in, they may ask to see the syllabus from that class. And it's always great if the kid, has that folder with them when they're at the college and they're able to show them that college syllabus right there on the spot. So again, I really, really stress to the kids, make sure you at least have the syllabus for each of your classes. And if you're taking a CCP course right now and you forgot to keep that syllabus, you may want to talk with your current CCP teacher and see if they'll give you a new copy. And make sure you have that. Always keep it at least till you have been accepted and all your credits have been transferred into whatever college you decide to attend after Minster High School. At the college level, your college advisor should provide you support in the selection of the classes that you'll be taking there. And then also they must provide academic supports to CCP students as they would their regular college students. And this can come in the ways of like tutoring, library access, and advising and counseling. So they are to offer that to their CCP students just as they would as an entering freshman. What about athletic eligibility? So student athletes should make sure that they learn and understand the OHSAA requirements. And it's important to note that a summer term CCP course cannot be used to bring a student in compliance with the OHSAA requirements for participation. Again, we've never had an issue with this. However, this is something that the state of Ohio and the Department of Education feels that students need to be made aware of. Important dates. So April 1st, that's the intent to participate. Really, it's May 1st since the Ohio Department of Higher Education just put that out. Again, that's part of my scheduling process, so your students should really have no issues with meeting that date. Check ACT and SAT testing dates if you need that for admissions or to be eligible to take a certain course. Again, this year, with the flexibility and eligibility rules, every college is kind of doing something different. It's very, very important that you understand what you need to do in order to be eligible to take a course. Again, if you're taking courses here at Minster through Rose State or Franklin, I will be sure to make sure that you understand what those requirements are and provide you opportunities or information on how you can meet those requirements. But once you start going to other colleges and applying and wanting to go to some area colleges, just be sure that you know what you need in order to be eligible for a course. Oftentimes, if they're requiring placement tests, it's either going to be the ACT, the SAT, or an AccuPlacer test. So just be sure that you're aware of any ACT dates that are coming up or SAT dates that are coming up that you can use to become eligible for a CCP course. Semester deadlines, especially if you're thinking of taking a class this coming summer, so that would be summer of 2021. Classes can start as early as the beginning of May or even mid-May, which you will technically still be in this school year, the 2019-2020 school year. But if that's something you want to do, you want to take a summer course, you need to really make sure that you're applying early, you're registering early, you're getting all that information in as early as possible because they do start so early. And then, as always, make sure that you know the deadlines for all other semesters. What is the application deadline? What's the drop deadline? What's my start date? All of those types of things. How do I get started? So you are ready for CCP, you're ready to jump in. What do you need to do to get started? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a scheduling meeting with myself. I'll come in to one of your classes during the month of February, and we will review all the courses that you could take next year. And if you're at the age level where CCP is offered here at Minster, we'll talk about that. But even if you're not, let's say you're a freshman or a sophomore next year and you're thinking of doing CCP courses at a university, that's something that we can talk about at the scheduling meeting as well. So when we're doing scheduling, you need to complete the intent to participate form, which we've talked about a couple times. You need to apply for admissions to the college of your choice before the deadline. Again, if you're taking CCP courses here at Minster, I will grab you during a study hall or at some point, and we will complete that application together. If you're going to take a course through any local university, you're going to want to stop by my office or reach out to that university and see what you need in order to apply. You're going to want to contact the college to discuss assessment test requirements. So what type of scores do you need on a test, or what are they requiring for you to be eligible to take a course? Again, if you're taking courses here at Minster, I will walk through all of that with you when we apply to the university. Okay, and then it's important that you inform me of your course schedule. So if you're going to take any courses not through Minster, you're going to take a course through an area college, you need to make sure you give me that schedule for a couple of reasons. One, I'll make sure that the classes you're intending on taking is going to meet your graduation requirement. And two, I cannot put that information on your transcript until I have your schedule. So I have to have your schedule so I can input that information on your high school transcript to make sure that you get high school credit for that. So our question and answer session will be on Monday, January 11th from 6:30 to 7:30. And I will be a part of that session. And then there will be representatives from the local colleges as well. You can bring any questions that you may have from this video, and I'll gladly discuss with you. A Google Meet link will be emailed to all parents of current 6th through 11th grade students, so next year 7th through 12th grade students, on the morning of January 11th. The Google Meet will be recorded. That way, anyone who's not able to attend for any particular reason will be able to watch and see if some of their questions are answered. And if you'd like any additional information, you can always visit the ohiohighered.org/CCP website. I hope this was a very informative session. I know that there are a lot of different parts to CCP. By all means, as your child is going through the process, please have your child ask me questions. Thank you for your time.